Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well today on this 15th day of October as we head straight through, all the Christmas decorations are being put up downtown. Of course, Christmas decorations out at Lowe's and Walmart has been going on, but now decorations all over the square. It's beautiful. If you want to get in the early Christmas spirit, just walk down there tonight, walk around the square, and you'll get that way. Of course, I want to remind you to shop Troy this Christmas and keep all that tax money right here in town. Of course, we got a lot to talk about. Troy loses this weekend in a heartbreaker. I reckon you can call it a heartbreaker. It's one of the tough losses that I can ever remember at Troy, where a team that Troy had was a much better team than the team they were playing, but the team they were playing looked like superstars against Troy. They came back from behind and Liberty beats Troy. It was a stunner, and I'm sure it's a game that's going to stick in the hearts of a lot of Troy men for a while to come. But hey, now you got to turn around and play South Alabama. And what looked like a 5-2 Troy team, hey, that would be the team to watch. Right now, I would think that most people would think that South Alabama will beat Troy. A lot of people think that South Alabama will beat Troy, just by the way they played. South Alabama beat a good Alabama State team 45-7 this weekend, and Troy gets beat by a team from Liberty that probably they play 100 times. They probably beat 99 times, but they got beat this past Saturday. It was embarrassing, no question about it. Man, I don't know if I've ever received so many calls saying, man, I thought y'all were better than this. Or one of the quotes was, Troy's not there yet. We just think we're there. Well, that's the case. Troy's not there yet. And with this backup quarterback, they're definitely not there. Right now, from what I saw Saturday, 3 can't do the job. This young man, hopefully, Gunnar Watson, the the redshirt freshman, who played limited time but looked pretty good when he was in there, he's got to come through for us, I believe, down the stretch, or we're going to be in trouble, and we're going to look at maybe be lucky to win, to have a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season. So what we're saying is, right now, Caleb Barker going out is worse than we thought it was going to be. A lot of people thought that Sawyer Smith could do it, and I'm not saying he can't. He might come through and play better, but in that game Saturday, he was not a guy that can win at quarterback for us at Troy. And hopefully they can get a lot done in 10 days. Troy plays at South Alabama on the 23rd. So we've got this week to prepare, a whole week to prepare, and then get ready for a Tuesday night kickoff at Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile against now maybe even a favored South Alabama team. Can you believe that? That we would drop that quick. But if you lose to Liberty on national TV, and you see a team, a resurgent South Alabama team that is well coached, that can run the football, hey, all you got to do is look at what Liberty was able to do, and teams have found out a lot about Troy and found out that defensively up front we're not quite as good as we thought we were. First of all, we did not rush the passer. He had all kinds of time to throw the football, and it was just way too much to handle for Troy in the offensive fronts. Troy had several injured players in the game. I think 3 or 4 starters in the offensive line actually went out at different times, and made it tough for Troy. So we got work to do, and hopefully Sawyer Smith and this young redshirt sophomore can come in, or freshman can come in and do the job. And Gunnar Watson is his name, and hopefully he'll come in and do the job for us. And the great thing about all of this, as bad as it is to lose to a team like Liberty, it's very similar to losing to South Alabama last year after we got off to such a good start, or after we beat LSU last year. And LSU is one of the best teams in the country now, and you can see by the way they've been playing. But it's still nothing hurt at all as far as what we are able to do and what our dreams are all about this year, and that's winning a Sun Belt Conference Championship outright, going to a major bowl outright, and are going to a big bowl game. And right now, Troy is just one win away from being bowl eligible. All those things are still there for us, and now we just got to find out what kind of young men we've got, and will they accept the challenge. They're much better, hopefully, than what we saw on TV Saturday, and I think they are. But these quarterbacks have got to come back and do the job and give this other part of this football team confidence that their quarterback can do the job, and offensively we can get back to where we were before last week's game. A lot of comments and to be made, and I still think all of our goals are there very easily. The next win will make us bowl eligible, which will send us to a bowl game just like the rest. You know, let me just tell you a little bit the way I look at it. Bowl games, well, all right, let's take Alabama, for instance. They're the only ones, the top 4 teams that are in the playoffs, in the NCAA playoffs for the championship. Right now it looks like Alabama, looks like Ohio State, looks like Clemson probably still in there, and we'll throw, say, LSU, or no, let's throw Notre Dame in there, for instance. Could be Michigan, but right now Notre Dame is undefeated. All right, those 4 teams are the only teams that have a different playoff situation than we do, and all the other 123 or 25 teams in the country have. All right, those 4 teams will play in a major bowl game. Alabama, let's say Alabama plays Clemson, and let's say Notre Dame plays Ohio State. All right, they play 2 bowl games. All right, Troy goes and is the Sun Belt champion, and they play in the New Orleans Bowl. Or let's say this, they're not the champion, and they play in the Mobile Bowl, bowl game. All right, let's say Auburn plays in the Gator Bowl. All right, let's say Middle Tennessee State plays in the Camellia Bowl. All right, we got all these bowl games. If Troy, who this coming Saturday, or in Tuesday week, if we can beat South Alabama, we become bowl eligible, all right? And we can go to at least 5 bowl games that are within the Sun Belt Conference. These are bowl games that are set up for a Sun Belt Conference team, so there are about 4 of them. All right, let's say we become bowl eligible, all right? We're going to bowl game. And all these other bowl games, I think there are 50-something more bowl games out there, and everybody that goes to bowl game. The only difference in going to the Camellia Bowl with a 7-5 record and going to the championship game for the national championship is just 2 games. Alabama will, if they win, will play for the championship the next week against, let's say, Notre Dame. All right, those are the only 2 teams in the nation that that play one extra game, one extra bowl game. So those are the elite groups. Those 4 top teams are elite groups. The rest of them go to a bowl game, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Weewalker Bowl, or whatever, and they end their season, and their reward is to go to a bowl game. And all the Troy fans get together and go to Mobile, or all the Troy fans get together and get a bus trip and go to New Orleans, and everybody has a big time to go to a bowl game. Well, all we need to do all those things, and this is funny, but this is where I'm coming from, is to win one ball game next week and become bowl eligible. Once Troy becomes bowl eligible with 6 wins, they can do whatever they can do what all these other teams want to do, and that's have a good season and go to a bowl game. And Troy's got an extra game there that makes their season even more exciting, and that is they play for a conference championship if they're able to come back, and hopefully they can come back after all this problem. Hopefully they can come back and play in their season at Appalachian State, beat Appalachian State, and play, let's say, Arkansas State for the championship game at Troy. But now the record, it affects them a little bit, but let's say could play it at Troy and win that championship, then go on and play in the New Orleans Bowl and have a super year. All of this is right in front of Troy. Don't you agree, Mike?
Well, I mean, I look at it totally differently. I'm just hoping we can get bowl eligible.
And that would be a win next week.
Well, I mean, I'm just hoping that we can get to 7. I think 7 will get you in a bowl. I don't know if 6 will out of the Sun Belt, depending on how many
well,
teams. There's 4 bowl tie-ins.
Tie-ins, yeah, 4.
If you watch that Troy team that played Saturday, you got to hope we can win 2 more games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we can.
You know, isn't it amazing?
After watching what I watched, now, I mean,
isn't it amazing how a team can turn around that quick? But you know what? The key was, now, you know, you heard me say it all summer long and all spring, that Barker was a quarterback. You know, you never heard me say Smith was a quarterback. I always thought Barker was the best player.
They were very kind to say that was close competition with quarterback. After watching what we saw on Saturday, there was no question who the quarterback was.
Well, let me just say this, and I want Sawyer Smith to do well.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. You can't overthrow guys as much as he did and try to be a college quarterback. I mean, Coach Brown's really got a tough decision. Does he want to bring in the freshman Watson, who he's planning on redshirting, and try to see if he's the guy you go to the rest of the season? Because after I watched on Saturday, I mean, I think there's going to be a real question who the quarterback's going to be going forward, especially with 10 days to get ready for South Alabama. I don't know Smith's answer. I think maybe you go with this Watson kid and see what he can do.
Mike, I saw something else Saturday, and this is very common, especially with play callers, that you've got to, you can't get too excited calling plays, and you've got to be, let me tell you, any team to win, and the team that should have won Saturday was the team that had balance. You know what I'm saying? Being able to run the ball and throw the ball, and that was what Troy had going in, was pretty good balance, being able to run the ball and throw the ball. Well, they took one of those away, didn't they? What did you think they took away? Did they take away both of them or one of them?
B.J. Smith ran for 111 yards and was, running for almost 8 or 9 yards clip towards the end of the game. We never should have tried to throw the ball on that last chance to score.
All right, you made a comment.
Troy got a huge holding call, and it backed us up to the 35. Next thing you know, he gets sacked. And, then we're out of field goal range and had to punt. And then on that last drive they had the ball, they converted three third downs to score the last touchdown and go for 2.
Boy, they looked like they were out to practice early that last time they had the ball. They ran straight at Troy and just knocked us off the ball. And hey, our defense, you gotta blame. If you're gonna blame it on anybody, blame it on the defense. They let them go run the length of the field to win the game.
You got to score touchdowns. You can't kick 3 field goals.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, what you compare this loss to is basically like Troy played Sanford, a Baptist school that's pretty decent in 1AA. So Liberty just made the transition. They're not a full Division I school yet. They're playing a Division I schedule for the first time this year.
Yeah.
So let's look at the schedule. This is who they beat. They beat Old Dominion 52-10. Old Dominion, of course, is the story of college football. They go to Virginia Tech and beat Virginia Tech, who was ranked by 2 touchdowns in Blacksburg. So that's going to make you feel pretty good that they beat Old Dominion that bad. But then you look at these games. They played Army. Army beat Liberty 38-14. If Troy and Army played, who do you think would win?
Well, I don't know. Army got a pretty good option attack.
And then this is a game that makes no sense if you look at this. North Texas, who Troy beat in the bowl game last year by 20 points. 20 points and had 7 starters not even playing that bowl game. So Troy wins by 20 points, would have won by 27 and gave up a late touchdown. North Texas plays them in that same stadium against Liberty and wins 47-7.
Yeah.
So how in the world does Troy go in there and get beat 22-16 against a team they beat in a bowl game last year by 20?
Yeah.
And then they beat New Mexico, who's coached by Bob Davie, used to be the head coach of Notre Dame. New Mexico runs the ball, and not a bad program. They beat them 42-43. And then they played New Mexico State the last week before they played Troy. This is a team that Troy has killed and dominated for years in the Sun Belt. New Mexico State beats Liberty 49-41. And then somehow Troy goes on the road and plays Liberty and gets beat 22-16.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for our kicker having the best day he's ever had in his life, kicking field goals, he kicked a 50-yarder, and then he also punted great throughout the game. I mean, Troy was lucky they scored 16.
He has been very good, no question about it. Well, let me just say this.
I mean, does that make you feel better to know that they beat New Mexico and that they beat Old Dominion? I mean, does that make it feel better for Troy fans?
But I'm going to tell you something right now. Was our quarterback that bad? Should we put it on the quarterback's shoulders, or should we put it on the offensive line? It didn't look like he had a lot of time to throw. They didn't look like they knocked people off the ball.
I will say I'd be interested to see Neil Brown's press conference today, going into this week, and see how many guys were out. I saw a lot of guys on the offense.
We had a lot of there were people going to that game I never even heard of, Mike.
Yeah, they had a guy in there named Harris playing guard one time I'd never seen, and I know there's a guy named Clem that hadn't played a whole lot that was in there a lot. So
what we're saying, Troy had a lot of people hurt in that game.
Hurt.
Yeah.
And our best guy on defense is out, Trey Folsom, leading tackler.
Well, and I tell you what, they missed him too.
He makes big play after big play.
No question about it. So it was a lot of scenarios there.
You can make excuses all day of the week, but they had a great crowd. They had a coach that was extremely motivated, one of the greatest players in Nebraska history, Turner Gill. I'm sure he was extremely embarrassed that Troy went to Nebraska and won that game this year against his alma mater. And I'm sure him and his coaching staff did all they could to get ready to shot in the world. And they did.
Well, and let me tell you another thing about people upsetting other teams. You can't give them things early. Let's just say this. Now, ifs and buts were candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. I agree, ladies and gentlemen. But let's say if you had your regular quarterback, Barker, he would have probably scored 2, maybe 3 touchdowns in the first half, and the team from Liberty just falls over and said, well, we fit to get our tails beat. Let's just try to just hang in there. And Troy goes through, beats them 3, maybe 4 touchdowns with Barker.
Barker was such an unbelievable runner the last couple of weeks, that dynamic being out of that offense. I mean, it's just a totally different offense.
All right, now he brings in, it's a lot different with a kid like Sawyer, who's fairly young, coming in to back up Barker when Barker's not there. All right, when Barker's there, he's on the beach, and here comes Sawyer, and he said, I'm going to go in and do, I don't have any real pressure on me, you're right, but I'm going to go in there and play as well as I could. Well, up until last week, we thought he was a real deal. We thought he could play. I didn't think we'd miss a beat, Mike. I really didn't.
Well, no, he struggled tremendously against Georgia State.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a couple of throws that, fortunately, we scored 2 touchdowns, but we had a lot of 3 outs against Georgia State.
And now he's not a barker, no question about it. And
the only reason we won that game is because we were up 21-0 when Barker got hurt.
I'm about to think Barker is a guy that could have led us to.
I'm not gonna lie, like you were making Johnny Manziel comparisons, saying all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's tough, wasn't he?
I'm not gonna lie. I turned to you at Georgia State, and I said he might be the best quarterback we've had ever.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the way he was looking, running and throwing the ball was just. I mean, just like Coach Brown said, that's the best our offense has looked since he had been there as the head coach.
Yeah, no question. And of course,
let me just tell you this: Kenny Edenfield, who didn't get to call plays at Troy the last several years when Coach Brown was there, him and Steve Campbell, 2 former Troy players, and Greg Stewart, the defensive coordinator, another former Troy player, they're going to have the games of their lives. They're going to have the best play calls they've ever had to beat Troy.
I can't. Not since the day.
This might be one of the biggest games.
Yeah.
Troy's ever had under Coach Brown, coming off a loss like that, to see how they come
Mike,
out.
I'm going to say something right here that will answer that question. Not since the days of Troy Jack State, which, I mean, they were the hated rivalry, will we see a game like this one coming up, Troy and South Alabama. Do you know that South Alabama might be favored in this football game? That's what a turnaround this is.
Yeah, Vegas will definitely have to...
I mean, do you think that South Alabama wakes up this morning and says, "Hey, we got Troy. We're worried about it." Hey, they think they can beat Troy right now, don't you think?
There's no doubt. And, if you look at South Alabama, they put 37 on Memphis. Memphis was leading Central Florida. Had that game won, ended up getting beat 31-30. But
and they're going to run the football, and they're going to run it right down our gut. That's what they're going to do.
You got to think that there's got to be a huge revenge factor. I mean, these Troy guys got their hearts broken last year after beating LSU and having 10 days to get ready. They're on cloud
perhaps one of the worst losses in Troy history.
They come out and they barely score 6 points, miss I think 2 or 3 field goals, and South Alabama and Joy Jones's last year just come to Troy and whip Troy. Both sides of the football.
All right, it's one of the worst losses in Troy history. All right, how would you compare the loss last year to South Alabama and the loss this year to Liberty?
I mean, I'll say that the South Alabama loss was more stinging because you had just beaten LSU and you were just on cloud 9. This loss came out of nowhere. I mean, how do you expect to lose to a 2-3 team that had just traveled?
And their quarterback was named Buckshot.
Yeah, had just traveled back-to-back weeks in New Mexico. Back-to-back weeks they were in New Mexico playing football games. I mean, nobody saw this one coming. I mean,
you know what you know who you got to hand it to? Whoever their offensive and defensive line coach. They beat us up front, Mike. They beat us in the offensive line. They knocked us off the ball like you won't believe in that last drive.
I mean, that's what I'd love to hear.
And they're big old Yankees now. These were big old Yankee linemen. You've heard of the Big Ten, the old Big Ten linemen. Well, these were big, strong offensive linemen that Liberty threw at us right there at the end.
I don't know. I mean, it's Virginia.
And see, they were saying to themselves, they couldn't believe it. Let me tell you this. Their mindset was, can you believe it? The score is 16 to 14, and we've got the football. All we got to do is drive the length of the field and kick a field goal and win the football game. Hey, I thought they would just play for the field goal. Gosh, they played for the touchdown and almost blew it. Troy almost intercepted the pass. And it would have been,
Marcus Jones has his hands.
Was that the craziest call you've ever seen in your life by a coach?
Well, the receiver just wanted him more. He jumped over.
I know it, but just to throw it, they were going to have a chip shot field goal.
I told you, though, they said during the game it was only a 22-yard field goal. Was the longest the guy made all year.
Well, you mean, but at the same time, though, they took a big gamble and almost blew it. Boy, Oak-Turner Gill would have been in the doghouse if that had happened.
And then Troy gets the ball back and literally went backwards. I don't even know if
you and I were talking. All right, we had 2 minutes and 50-something seconds.
We had 2 minutes and 30-something seconds.
Plenty of time. And then, we just couldn't get it together.
But, man, you got to feel for these coaches. I mean, Neil Brown was one of the hottest coaches in the country. I mean, going into this game, and, you beat Nebraska early in the season. You beat LSU last year. And, nobody expected a loss like this.
But, Mike, do you know, Mike?
You saw me. I was trying to break the television.
Only love can break a heart.
We were trying
Only
to get on the radio.
love can mend it again. And now turn around and
we
say,
almost did
only
Alabama
love, only a win can mend a heart. And that's what we got to do. We got to mend a heart with a win.
Of course, we went to Tuscaloosa and had a great time there, and watched a stadium of 102,000 people go quiet.
Well, I hope you had a good time at that game.
And go quiet and
Yeah.
literally panic was set all over that stadium when Tua laid on the ground and nobody knew what was going to happen. And thank goodness he got back up and looks like he's going to be able to play against Tennessee.
Well, I tell you what, you're not as good as how good your quarterback is, and Troy's a good indication of that.
I tell you what, but Alabama's awfully good because look who their backup quarterback is. He came in and went 7 for 8, 115 yards, caught a pass as well, scrambled for another 20 yards. I mean, how did Jalen Hurts is that insurance policy is pretty phenomenal.
And is still probably the most popular player on Alabama's team, next to
and got 2 standing ovations.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this, Mike. Everything's still in front of Troy, and that's what's so exciting about all of this. Let me tell you this. Neil Brown hates this worse than anybody in the world. People don't think that's not so. He hates it worse than anybody. And this whole team has had their heart broken. Well, let me tell you this. Sometimes a situation like this can make a team better. We're going to find out if it's going to make Troy better. It should. If this is the same Troy team that I think it is, but now, again, they've got to mend this loss, and they've got to develop these 2 young men and get them ready to play. If they're not ready to play Tuesday night week, Troy's going to get their fanny whipped again.
Yeah.
These 2 quarterbacks are not ready.
Well, we got to just figure out how to get these guys healthy that are out right now, too. I mean,
And our running back situation.
Troy's really suffering a lot of nicks and bruises, a lot of guys not playing, a lot of guys not playing up to their potential. Yeah. There's just no way a team like Liberty should push Troy around.
Yeah. Well, let's just say this. I'll tell you a team up there that's a good example, Mike.
I mean, it would have been different if we were playing like Appalachian State or Georgia Southern in a transition. I could have handled losing to somebody like them because they're a traditional power. But Liberty was never even a traditional power.
Yeah. What is that team over there that's a Yankee team that is so good at trying to get in?
Yeah, if we'd been playing James Madison.
Yeah, James Madison. James Madison is a good program over there that's a 1AA that's ready to be a 1A. And, I could understand it from them. They're good, and they get these big, strong offensive linemen. Let me tell you what you look at, and you look at Georgia Southern. Now, they look terrible in that ball game. They did not play good in their game. And so,
against Texas
so
State.
what happens is certain teams get up for certain people, and don't you think that it won't be the case when Troy plays Georgia Southern, and they got those big old fine offensive linemen. Well, it's hard to find. The hardest thing to find in Division 1A football is Division 1A offensive linemen. Now, coming into this game, I would have thought, well, maybe we were in good shape there and we had a lot of depth. But we found out, the big question we found out was our quarterback wasn't ready and our offensive line wasn't as good as we thought they were. They don't have the depth. They lost some good lineman injuries, and they don't have the depth that we thought they had.
No, that's right.
And if you can't block folks up front and right there at the end, hey, here these 2 lines are meeting, the Troy defense against their offense. Their offense knocked Troy off the ball. You've got to say that. They marched, 70 or 80 yards for the touchdown?
I know, but I mean, how in the world can you have 230 yards of offense against a team that gives up over 500 yards a game?
I know.
How's that even possible?
Exactly. Well, it happened.
But how's it possible that Auburn had one of the best teams they've ever had in years last year? They beat number 1 Georgia, beat number 1 Alabama. Jared Stidham was probably a top 15 pick to go in the first round of the NFL draft. And now Auburn is staring a really unbelievably surprising Ole Miss team that beat Arkansas, came back and beat Arkansas, that's 5-2. Auburn's a 3.5-point favorite now going to Oxford this weekend. Could Auburn lose again and be 4-4?
There's no question in my mind. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Ole Miss will beat Auburn. Right now, Auburn's
that was ranked number 6.
Auburn's got problems. Ole Miss can score at will. It's going to be a shootout, but I mean, Ole Miss has just got more weapons than Auburn's got on offense right now. Other than this, a little sprinter that came off the track team. What's his name?
I think Swartz or
little
something.
Sprinter that came off he's the only real playmaker they got right now, Mike. Can you believe that?
I mean, Ron Davis is still a really good wide receiver. I think the Whitlow kid's a pretty
all right, but again, they're not able to move the football. And
Slayton's a good wide receiver. I mean, how in the world Auburn loses to Tennessee? I mean, I know he threw 2 horrible interceptions and then he got sacked and they picked up a fumble and ran it in, but I mean, people don't realize that game wasn't even close in the second half.
Did you know
the late touchdown was up 2 minutes left?
And I'm sure not a guru, but I told you all week long Tennessee was going to win the football game. Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Get on Rocky Top of Tennessee.
I'll say this.
You got to hold your nose, ladies and gentlemen.
You did the best you've ever done picking upsets. You picked Iowa State. And you picked Tennessee, so those are 2 huge upsets.
And that pure freshman quarterback, Purdy, at Iowa State's the real deal. And you know what? You get a great quarterback, and Ole Miss has got a heck of a quarterback, buddy. He is really good. Don't you agree? He is really good.
He didn't do anything against Alabama.
I know it, but he is really good. And of course, it makes a difference. Right now, Troy doesn't have the right now, I really believe, I believe that they don't know for sure who would be their quarterback Tuesday week. Right now, what is your feeling?
Going forward, Liberty plays Iowa State. Not Iowa, but Idaho State this week. And then they play at UMass. And then later in the season, they play at Virginia, who I called the upset. Virginia beats Miami
that's right, you sure did.
And then on November 17th, should Auburn be scared, Liberty travels to Jordan-Hare
Who
Stadium.
shot Liberty Balance? He was the bravest of them all.
so Auburn will get a taste of Liberty on November 17th.
Gets a taste of Liberty. Uh-oh. Can you believe Auburn might fear Liberty? No way. No way. Auburn wins that game by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I know. It's one of those things, though, where, I'm just telling you with the rest of their schedule the rest of the way.
Well, you know.
Another upset you picked, I think you picked Carroll Ozark Charles Henderson. I think you picked Henderson.
I picked Charles Henderson over Carroll of Ozark. And you know what? It's what's up front that counts. We did the game live. I hope you enjoyed watching it. It was the best. All right, Mike, I coached you in football, and I coached a lot of kids in football. How many times did I hear you ever hear come out of my mouth, gang tackle those guys? You think Kay Pennington, you got to have 4 or 5 heads on him or we're not going to bring him down. Well, that great running back, and he's a good one at Carroll Ozark. He's about 6'2" and weighs about 210, Mike. Big, strong guy. He got his head knocked off against Charles Henderson. Every time he got it, they gang tackle him. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. And
Charles Henderson been giving up way over 30 points, 40 points a game to everybody.
But now let me tell you the rest of the story is one-dimensional. You can't be one-dimensional and expect to win all the time. Carroll's gotten away with it by running the football. They didn't even throw a pass hardly until the latter part of the game, and they completed 2 long passes. But they don't throw the football, and you can put 8 and 9 people in the box like Charles Henderson did. That means they have 8 and 9 people, 9, and even sometimes 10 people up there ready to make the tackle, and that's what they did. They penetrated, they gained tackle, and whoever and I know I'm going to give you his name in just a moment, the defensive coordinator for Charles Henderson High School should be given some kind of award today for the job he did with that program in that game.
But, how do you look at Charles Henderson now? Is this a team that could have been doing this all season, or is this a team that just showed up for one game?
Well, again, Carroll was one-dimensional. All you folks from Ozark that keep up with football, you know what I'm talking about. All of them were, all you had to do was stop their run, and you could beat them. Charles Henderson stopped their run. this is unreal, Mike. The longest run from scrimmage during the game by Carroll Ozark was 10 yards. Charles Henderson was all over him. And let me tell you the guy's name. The guy's name is Travis Baxley. He came from Georgia Southern, Mike. He used to play at Georgia Southern years ago. Travis Baxley and his defensive group did a super job stopping Carroll Ozark. And I talked to the Carroll people after the game. They're broadcast people who are very good program and very good people. And they said, hey, y'all just beat us. He said, y'all just beat us in every way of the kicking game, the entire aspect of high school football. They were one-dimensional. Our guys gained tackle, and they won the ball game.
I mean, you got to give Carroll credit, though. I mean, they've only lost 2 games during the season.
It's only the second.
Very solid.
Only the second regular season game, I think, something like 30 or 40 games. That was unreal regular season. Of course, they got beat in the playoffs a few times, but they'll be good. They're still going to be good because everybody's not going to be able to put together the plan that they've got. But again, you put everybody on the line of scrimmage, playing run every down, and they tell you something else they did. Coach, I hope you're listening. You ran to the right 75 to 80% of the times. Can you believe that? They ran over a big guy, one-arm weight.
Running over Will Reeves, the mayor's son.
Well, no. I'm talking about them with the football. Carroll. They had a big 290 guy, Mike, and a 310 guy was who they ran over. 2 big guys, and they kept running over him and running over him. They finally ran it to the left and scored late in the ball game by running to the left, but they ran it to the right side of the field most of the time, where Charles Henson was saying, hey, let's just dig a trench over there. Let's dig a trench over there and stop it, and that's what they did. I know Coach McCoy has to be excited about the way his team played. And I think from Coach McDonald and anybody from Carroll High of Ozark that went there, Charles Henderson just came out there and played a heck of a football game and won the game.
Yeah, the biggest thing is where does Charles Henderson go after this? So is this going to lead to more victories? Or
the tough thing is they have to go to Tallahassee.
Will it be a one-hit wonder?
They go to Tallahassee, and I think you'll agree that Tallahassee.
Well, there's no way.
I don't know if anybody loves their high school football anymore in Tallahassee. All you got to do is look at their stadium. The stadium looks.
Got to go to Tallahassee now.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been brutal. And
of course they've run that wing tee. And again, though,
you talking about this one? You're going to have this one.
If Tallahassee is one-dimensional, and they might be, Charles Henderson might be ready for them. Charles Henderson. Let me tell you something else. Let me throw out a name to you, and the difference in the football game was Puka Jones. Puka Jones, the backup quarterback, is now the quarterback at Charles Henderson. If they move him out of that position, they're not thinking very well. Puka Jones was throwing the football like a major college prospect, Mike. That's how good he looked. He looked like a major college prospect, and he's only a junior. And let me tell you something.
We had a lot of other games in the area we need to talk about as well. Holland Home. I'm sure that was one of the greatest.
Oh gosh, my team of the week is Holland Home. They beat Luverne.
Goes to Luverne. It beats an undefeated Luverne team 31-28.
Well, I tell you what, it turns out that this coach that they hired back in the spring with those connections to Wetumpka.
He's been there a couple years.
Well, he's done a heck of a job.
Yeah, Coach Coggins and then Coach Mitchell, offense coordinator, Will Pouncey, defense coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean that win means everything to that program. I'm sure to beat Luverne, and then of course your Elba Tigers fall to Georgiana as well.
Now I don't know if Highland Home has played Brantley yet. Need to find that out, or because that means that they'll battle.
Brantley's 1A.
I know, but we're talking about bragging rights, but as a top team in Crenshaw County. Hey, Mike, our buddy from Pike County is winning big over at Crenshaw Christian. They won again, and they're 5-1 or 6-1.
Wayne Grant.
Another heartbreaker before a jam-packed crowd at Pike Liberal Arts. They lose 28-0 to Monroe
I wouldn't say heartbreaker. That was a blowout.
Well, you can call it any way you want to.
A heartbreaker get beat 28-0 in Son of
But
Hartford.
this team, though, I think is going that you know, everybody hates to lose, but if you're gonna lose, why not lose to the best team in the state? And now they're gonna come back and probably end up playing them again in the playoffs, hopefully, because I think this Pike team is better than that. What I'm saying, I really do.
Well, I mean, it's one of those type things. You just got to try to get into the playoffs and try to see them again.
No question about it. Of course, this show is brought to you by Pike County Ford on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, my good friend Ricky Clark out there, the owner, was on our live telecast of the Charles Henderson High School Carroll High of Ozark game. I'm sure there are a lot of folks that did not get to see that game can order this game, the Charles Henderson Carroll of Ozark game. You can order it through Troy Cable today, and they'll put together you a tape. And I don't know. I want to say $15. I'm not sure exactly what it costs, but that right there is a keepsake. That right there, Mike. You don't beat Carroll of Ozark every day, but the example shown here, and Carroll knew that would have to be coming, that one day they would play somebody that could stop them up front. And that Charles Henderson defense, led by that young Northcutt, Mike, he's only a 10th grader, but remember his name. Hey, he is going to be a big-time player. Well, they shut it down. They just shut down that running attack of Carroll's, and they had a very good offensive plan, and led by Puka Jones and DQ Tony. And I tell you, another young man, Mike, that is making a big difference on this football team at Charles Henderson.
The Giles kid?
Is the Giles kid. Jackson Giles can catch a football. Now, he dropped the ball for a sure touchdown late in the game, but he came back in the game and made 2 or 3 huge catches. And Puka Jones, Mike, this quarterback, was deadly. He was deadly, and he could run the ball, and not taking the thing at all away from DQ Tony, but Puka Jones, man, and if they develop their offense around Puka Jones now, look out, Mike.
So, I mean, was he like the backup quarterback all year? Pretty much.
Yeah. Now, DQ Tony, who's an excellent athlete, was the quarterback, and left-handed quarterback, could throw it a little bit, but he can't throw it like this guy, Puka Jones, could throw it. But also, he's a college prospect as a offensive receiver, Mike. DQ Tony is, and now with that combination of Puka Jones to DQ Tony and also our other guy. Hey, look out. And then there's another receiver, Mike, that is also an excellent receiver, and that is the number 24, and that's Elijah Caldwell, but also Sean McKinney made a one-handed catch, Mike, in the end zone for Charles Henderson. A catch that will be in the annals of Charles Henderson history. They need to take that slow motion catch and frame it, because that was a fabulous catch that Sean McKinney made in that game. And they played without, the thing about it, they played without 2 or 3 of their best players. One of those guys was Chance Pollard, their outstanding running back. They played without him the whole game, so that was big. And then also, Mike, Cole Coppage. How would you have thought you'd play if you didn't have Cole Coppage? Well, he was hurt, and you know what? The other guys looked like game breakers, buddy. They were tough.
Of course, congratulations to Pike County. Coach Holland and the Bulldogs continue to roll. They won again against Slocum. Got a great chance to go really far in the 3A, and they continue to win. Of course, I want to also talk about my wife's alma mater, the Mount Brook Spartans. Huge win against Hewitt Trustful.
And they beat the Guru's son. Is that right?
Yeah, Coach Yeager has got Mountain Brook undefeated 7-0 up here, and
well, who's the quarterback?
they beat Paul Tyson, Bear Bryant's great grandson, who grew up in the Mountain Brook school systems, but decided he wanted to go play for this offensive guru at Hewitt Trustful, and then Yeager and them beat Trustful. So huge win for Mountain Brook.
This is the best year Yeager's had in a while. And of course, Yeager used to be a defensive, a coach here at Troy University, and been up there a long time. Been real conservative, a real conservative coach.
Yeah, I mean, they keep on talking about like this is gonna be his last season. They're gonna replace him, but the last couple of years he's had some really good talent.
And let me tell you something else about him. And we can look at Fred Holland and other things. This guy is a great person. And kids that play under him are going to learn other things other than football. They're going to be better people for playing for this guy. That's why he stays at Mountain Brook, Mike. And you wonder, saying you're right, he hadn't won like all these other coaches, but he's not just a football coach. He's a great person, and that I think.
He's been there at least 15, 16.
He and Johnny Williams are real good friends. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Of course, he played at North Alabama, and Johnny knew him there and coached him there, and that's what happened. But you're right. It's amazing how this Mountain Brook program is done. And then, of course, the winningest coach of all time in the state of Alabama is right down the road at Vestavia. How they do?
They lost a heartbreaker to Thompson and Cholula, Tumblevaloa.
How good is he, Mike?
Well, I mean, he's good enough to earn a scholarship from the University of Alabama. You got to be pretty phenomenal.
All right, this is Tua's brother now that comes from Hawaii, and
his name is Talua.
Talua. Does he have any size to him?
He's more stocky than Tua. He's not as tall. He's around 5'11", about 210.
Yeah. I want to throw out some names and honor this Charles Simpson team today. J.B. Sanders, number 8, played in the secondary, Mike. I bet he made 15 tackles. He was all over the field. Sean McKinney had a great game. Robert Grady, number 13, had a great day receiving, did a great job. Cole Coppage did not play. Brock Huner came in, Mike, and kicked the ball very well. I think that's Brock or Brady, one or the other. I think it's Brock that kicked the ball so well in that game. Number 18, Puka Jones, Mike, was the star of the game at quarterback on the offensive side. Some other guys that were Elijah Caldwell, number 24. You know who his daddy is, don't you?
Is that Adrian's son?
Adrian Caldwell's daddy, son. And then, of course, another...
Yeah, Adrian was a peewee and junior high All-American.
Yeah, you're right. Jaden Scott, number 3, played well. Camden Conan, Mike, the coach's son, is really playing well at linebacker for Charles Henderson. Jonathan Carter came in and played brilliantly at running back, number 26. DQ, some other guys that I don't want to miss any, but I'm probably going to. But I've got to mention some of these other linemen. That Jackson Giles, of course, that receiver was outstanding catching the football. But I want to mention these big boys. Caleb Geis, Mike. He might be the largest field goal kicker in the state. He kicked a long field goal for Charles Henderson. Would have been good for a long time. And he kicks off and does their placement, and is really good. Javon Campy, 54, is the center and played very well. Rob Robertson, number 56, another big guy. And Darius Norcutt, Mike, this big, fine, young sophomore defensive tackle, played well. Zeke Caldwell, Sam Knotts played well again. These big guys up front. Cameron Berry is another guy that did well. And Jalen Woods is another fine defensive lineman coming up for Charles Henderson. Zach Jones, number 74, pound for pound, might be the toughest guy out there. He plays tackle and center and played great for Charles Henderson the whole game. And Corey Porter came in and played some and played well. Javon Hill, just a whole load of outstanding young men played their hearts out in that big win, and congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, Charles Henderson's got a big offensive line. I mean, Will Reeves is, 6'4", 290, maybe 300.
Well, exactly right.
Their line average is probably 250, doesn't it?
Yeah. Will, of course, is outstanding, and, of course, they run behind him quite a bit. And, of course, like
Will's got a chance to play at the next level.
If
I
he
don't know
wants
if
to
it's
play,
the
if he wants to play, he can. That's no question. He is a fine player.
I think his favorite sport is baseball, actually, though.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. His favorite sport should be football because, hey, listen, 6'4", 6'5", 280 to 300 pound linemen. They don't come around every day. You're born with that. And hey,
his Uncle John was a great player for the Big Red Thrashers.
Yes, sir. And hey, listen, ain't no as no young man I love anymore anywhere than John Reeves, and he is a great guy, no question about it.
John Reeves put an elbow out one night during termite practice or peewee practice and knocked out about 3 or 4 guys. He was pretty good with that elbow.
Yeah, they call it a flipper, don't they?
That's right.
No question. We're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back to more of Today in L.A.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure did.
Really, Johnson? I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do. They're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
Getting my car detailed.
At Trojan Detail, we do it all.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
War Eagle, the Auburn Tigers getting ready for a big football game this weekend in Oxford, Mississippi. Yes, it's Auburn and Ole Miss coming to you at 11 o'clock this Saturday morning. Auburn needs a big win to get back in the fold of the SEC conference race, and no better place to go and do it is than the Ole Miss Rebels. This game is going to be early in the morning, another one of those early games, and but should be a super football game between two teams that are capable. And, of course, Ole Miss definitely is capable of winning a football game against Auburn, and that's going to be quite a game. I went to that game a couple of years ago and with my good friend Sonny Williford, and we stayed at his sister's Mary Duncan the house and Mary Duncan Hall, and we really had a great time, and I might be looking forward to going over there again. Of course, Alabama, it is the third Saturday of the October, and that means the Alabama-Tennessee football game, and let's see if we can put that together here. The Crimson Tide of Alabama getting ready to make a little trip to Rocky Top to play the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee, fresh off of a big win over Auburn, would love nothing better than to knock off the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And Big Al says, no way. But ladies and gentlemen, hey, in college football, anything can happen, even to the University of Alabama. So, hey, don't let a team think that they can beat you. That's exactly what happened at Liberty this weekend. They thought, they were saying, well, we're hanging with this team. We're hanging with this great Troy team. We're hanging with them. And then saying, gosh, hey, it's only 16-14, and we've got the football. Hey, what are we going to do? We're going to sit here and give it back to them, or we're going to run down the field and win this football game? Well, their mindset at first was not being able to win the game, but the more that game went on, the more they saw that their chances were good, that they could win this football game, and they did. And it was one of the big victories in Liberty history, believe you me, even back when Sam Ritagliano used to coach there, and they beat Troy and Coach Lamb Blakeney, upcoming Division I AA program. I was there when they did that, and they turned around and did it again this weekend. Coach, there's nobody is going to have their team any better prepared than Coach Neil Brown's going to have for that big Tuesday night week game. It'll be the 23rd at in Mobile. We've got a bus going to be leaving out of here about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon to go to that game. And if you'd like to ride on it, call Alumni Affairs today at 372-2000. Well, excuse me. Call them at 670-3310. 670-3310, and leave your name with those people there, and there'll be somebody to get back with you. It's Troy and South Alabama, and last year, the last time we played down there, we took 9 buses of students, and I think totally it was something like 12 buses from Troy went to that game. So we want to really support our Trojans and get back on the winning trail, and which I think they'll do. But it's against a team that is a lot better than people think, and they're coached by Troy guys that would love nothing better than to beat our Trojans. So we've got to be prepared. Of course, Alabama going to Tennessee this weekend, and of course, congratulations to Coach Pruitt, who not only married a Troy girl, a girl from Banks, and I know they were thrilled to death, all those folks out at Banks, of course, he made a good decision when he married her, and of course, look where he is today. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
So did the Patriots hold on and win last night? I guess the Chiefs.
Final score, Patriots 43, Kansas City 40. Can you believe that? 43-40.
I'll tell you what, that was a great game.
It was a great game.
That Mahomes is the real deal, isn't he?
Yes, sir. They've got this Hill guy's the fastest guy in the NFL, Mike, and they just got it to him out.
You want to hear an amazing story? He finished his career at a school in Alabama.
Jacksonville State?
West Alabama.
He went to West Alabama. Hill did?
Yeah, he was a...
Mike, he's the fastest guy in the pros, they say.
He was a star wide receiver at Oklahoma State, ran into some off-the-field issues, got suspended, and ended up at West Alabama playing for Coach Gilliland up there.
Isn't that amazing? Well, I tell you
West
what.
Alabama right now has 5 guys in the NFL. I mean, isn't that amazing for a division?
What, West Alabama does?
Yeah, they got that receiver Roberts that plays for the Raiders.
Man, oh man.
But that's amazing how much talent. And shoot, they got the kid that won the Super Bowl for New England, Butler.
That's right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's another West Alabama guy. Of course, he got traded to, I think he plays for the Titans now.
It goes to show you that if you can get into the college ranks, everybody got a shot. They're looking for players.
The Titans got sacked 11 times by the Ravens.
Oh, boy. That is something. That is unreal.
And the Falcons finally found a way to win yesterday. So
yeah.
That's only 2 wins for them on the season. And the Cowboys won big yesterday as well.
Now, Troy's got McClendon. He's playing. Who did he play with? He's from Ozark.
McClendon plays for the Jets.
He played with the Jets.
Addison plays for Carolina.
Addison with Carolina.
Treywick plays for the Titans. He made the Pro Bowl yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, but last year as a special teams player. But Troy doesn't have many other guys. That's all I can think about right now because Garcia got cut. No, he didn't make it.
Yeah, they've had him in the past and so forth. Okay.
I mean, Troy one time had 11 guys in the pros.
Yeah. Mike, we're throwing things out this morning, and again, let me tell you this: nobody loves them any more than we do. We're just trying to be realistic. That hey, our quarterback wasn't ready. At least he looked like it. Now they might have graded his film and loved him, but we're finding out that Caleb Barker was that good. It meant that much to our program offensively. Don't you agree? Throwing the ball and running the ball.
There's no doubt. I mean,
see, he put all kinds of pressure on.
The way he played the last 2 games, I mean, he was one of the, by far one of the best quarterbacks in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he had potential, to coming into next year, if he kept on doing what he was doing, to be one of the more highly publicized quarterbacks Troy's ever had.
Yeah, no question about it. And,
I mean, I feel for these players. I mean, I know that they probably, woke up the next day and said, well, what happened? I mean, just like I was telling, several friends of mine, this was a huge trap game. I mean, everybody knew it. You didn't know how the quarterbacks were going to come out and play, and unfortunately they played, about as bad as they could play. I mean, when he makes that throw into triple coverage there.
Yeah, I know. What was he doing? God.
I mean, that was, poor throw, but then the overthrows is what concerns me so much. I mean, guys, you're not even giving guys a chance to throw the ball, and then very end of the game, just like Neil Brown was telling him on the sidelines, you got to get rid of that ball. On 3rd down, 4th down, that's the game. You got to at least, throw it up there and give him a chance. Willis made an unbelievable catch on a he was wide open for a sure touchdown. Smith underthrew it, and Willis had to jump and wrestle that ball away to make that catch.
Well, last year we were talking about these, coming off the LSU win and losing at home to South Alabama. Our quarterback last year, as good as he was, against.
You're talking about Silvers.
Yeah, exactly. Against against South Alabama did not play well at all against South Alabama. Troy turned the ball over.
He always struggled against South Alabama.
They turned the ball. He's from down there, They turned the ball over a bunch, and Troy just did not play well. And they looked unprepared and everything. Hopefully, after that we came back and played brilliant. I thought very good football after that, and hopefully this is going to be a great learning thing and a great motivating factor, and that's what I mean more than anything is motivating factor, where those offensive and defensive linemen start slapping people around a little bit and start making some things happen on offense.
He had little things like Rucker. I mean, that's now 2 or 3 botched punts. So,
all right, tell us about Rucker on that, Michael.
They brought Marcus Jones in to field punts after that. I mean, Rucker, luckily, Liberty recovered that fumble on the fly and returned it for a touchdown, but you can't return the fumble.
It's called a muff. Yeah, on a punt, it's called a muff.
That was a huge play because Troy would have had the ball before the half with about probably 40 seconds left, and I think a couple timeouts around the 48-yard line of Liberty. Instead, Liberty gets the ball back, and luckily Troy got a 3-and-out. Liberty didn't score there, but little things like that. You got to find a way to field your position there. I mean, I know he ran a punt back against Nebraska and almost ran another one back. And he's a great athlete and he's a great defensive player, but you can't be back there if you're going to.
Well, and then you talk about being a hero right at the end when he went up for the. Our guy from Enterprise came within a hair of being another unbelievable hero if he would have pulled down that.
That guy outfought him for the ball there.
I know it, and the other guy was bigger and stronger than he was. You could tell, but that young man from Enterprise is a playmaker. And talking about,
he's the kind of guy.
His name's Jones, and he is a good one.
I really think you're going to see going forward. There's got to be a way you can get him on the field on offense.
Yeah.
There's just got to be a way because he's just that fast.
Yeah. And it makes things happen.
I don't understand in a game like that, Coach Brown's known for trickeration, and if there was ever a time to come up with a trick play, it would have been in that second half. Somehow get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because Troy's offense, it was just not moving. It took forever to score, and when they couldn't score, they had to kick, chip shot field goals. I mean, I know they kicked 150-yarder, but the other ones were chip shots. I mean, if there was ever like a halfback pass or a throwback to the receiver, throwback to the quarterback, some kind of trickeration, I mean, that was the time to call it in that game.
Yeah,
to get on the board. Troy goes up on that last drive by 9, that game's over.
Yeah, no question about it. It was just several things you can go back to.
Ended up getting no points, but man, what a crowd by Liberty. What a student section.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Oh, I mean,
that game was important to them, very important. A lot more important to them than it was to us, at least the way it looked. But you know what? The whole key was, we're going to play with him. Y'all, we playing this guy team a good game. But no way did we think we can win this game. And then later on, they said, you know, we're down just 16-14, and we got the football, and you know what? We can win this game. And you know that last drive made them think that whoever this buckshot quarterback is, that's his name, could take them all the way down and win that ball game. They didn't know it and they didn't think it, but it happened.
Yeah. But, you know, it's one of those type things that, you know, nobody hates them more, like you said, than Coach Brown and these coaches, and hopefully the players will respond. And, you know, the only way you can make up for a game like this is if you go on the road and you beat Georgia Southern and beat Appalachian State.
Yeah. Mike also was very close to doing all of this.
I mean, I had Troy going 8-4 to start the season, and that's still very probable. But right now, I'll be honest, I'll take 7-5.
Oh gosh. Well, let's take.
Don't you think Lafayette's gonna be hard to beat?
Yeah, Lafayette scored 65 points. I told somebody something even against Alabama. I said, you know, they moved the ball pretty good. You know, they rushed for over 200 yards.
Yeah, they had two guys almost run for 100 yards.
Well, let me just say this: they scored 65 points this past weekend. Lafayette, we played them at homecoming. It's going to be a tough game.
I mean, I'll say the toughest game we have by far will be how we respond, how we come out against South Alabama. If we can find a way to win that game.
And, you know, we've never beat them with ease, if you'll think about it. We've never just wore them out.
Games.
You know, you remember that time we scored on the last play of the game on the goal line? We were very fortunate there.
Joey Jones really had Troy's number when he was coach down there.
And this guy is going to run the football, what he's going to do, and they're going to be tough. One of the stars of
national TV game too. That's going to be ESPN2 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's going to be a very visible game, no question about it, from Ladd's People's Stadium in Mobile, and that'll be coming up Tuesday week.
Other games in college football, there's upsets all over the place. Michigan State beats Penn State. Oregon beats Washington. I mean, it was upset Saturday in college football. What a weekend for football.
And you know what? Georgia looked like mediocre. Mediocre against LSU. LSU just shut them down. Huh?
Physically dominated.
Oh, yeah, just shut them down, you know. Big boy getting in a fist fight. Hey, getting in a fist fight, these guys right here. And when one of them got in a good lick, it was over with. They just dominated the game, Georgia did, for the rest of the whole ball game. And it was not.
I mean, there was upsets. Virginia upset Miami. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah. Right now, you got Alabama. You got Ohio State. You got Clemson. I reckon you can throw Clemson there. They're still undefeated. And then you've got Notre Dame. Those are four pretty good football teams. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Notre Dame. All right, let's say Alabama plays Notre Dame in the playoffs, and Clemson plays Ohio State. Then Ohio State and Alabama for the national championship. And then I got Alabama winning the national championship. But that's where I got it, right there. Don't you agree?
Other teams you got to put in that picture though are LSU and Michigan. They're both playing well.
LSU and Michigan, and old Khaki Pants has Michigan playing pretty good. I thought, ladies and gentlemen, Wisconsin was decent, but they got killed by Michigan. Hey, Wisconsin is not very good right now. Is that right?
Well, I mean, they've definitely. I mean, they've lost 2 games. I mean, a lot of people thought they'd probably have a chance to win the Big Ten, but doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Of course, Memphis was up 30 to, I think, 13 on UCF, and then UCF finds a way to win again. They've won 19 straight.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? You're right. University of Central Florida, a team that we used to play every year. You remember that? Go down there and play them every year and beat them most of the time. Their program, of course, is one of the largest schools in the country, has really, really developed.
Another surprising score out west late. UCLA finally wins the game under Chip Kelly. They went to Cal and won 37-7.
Sure did. And you got them playing well right now. And Stidham.
And then Boise continues to struggle. Boise was a 17-point favorite against Nevada, and Boise barely wins that game, 31-27. So maybe Boise wasn't as good as all these Troy fans and everybody in the country thought they were at the start of the season. They've already lost 2 games and almost lost another one.
No question about it. And of course, I was looking. Steedham's stock has gone down tremendously.
I know. Stenham, you're talking about a guy that was probably going to be a first-round draft pick that maybe will not go now until maybe the 4th or 5th round, people are saying.
That's right. He's not the guy that can just take control.
It just proves you got to have an offensive line.
You're right. You are right, my son. You're exactly right. You better be strong up front or you're going to get your tail beat. You know what happened Saturday? Their front whipped our front, Mike. That's what happened. That's why they beat us. Was their front whipped our front.
And you got to give Missouri credit against Alabama. We were at the Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama got stopped 3 times.
Missouri's right tackle.
And then on 4th down, Alabama gets stuffed at the goal line.
And let me tell you, their right tackle, I don't know who he is, big old red-headed guy, was killing everybody on that side for Alabama. He'd hit one and knock him to the ground and then hit another one. I don't know who he was, but he dominated it at right tackle. Very rarely does a lineman ever just stand out. Well, I watched this guy, and then let me tell you something. Those linemen weren't even going hard at him because they didn't want to have to hit him. He would just.
Alabama has scored on every first possession of each game to start the season, which is incredible. The first play, 2 rolls back.
But tell them what happened later that a lot of people don't know that happened later on in the quarter, Mike. Tell them what happened.
What are you talking about later in the quarter?
That number 4 who was that scored that long touchdown and had it called back for Alabama?
That was Riggs. They throw a little out route to Riggs.
See, a lot of people that didn't see the game.
They make a block. Riggs goes about 80 yards for a touchdown. They called it back for a hold.
Ran it 80 yards for a touchdown, and they called it back.
Riggs from Robert Lee and Montgomery can fly.
And but what I'm saying, that game would have been way bigger score than that. But again, you're right. Missouri was not bad. They were not bad. They were physical. You got to be physical if you're going to play Alabama.
But Drew Lock, a lot of people thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country and going to be a first-round pick as well. He throws for 142 yards.
Alabama's defense made them look silly, and I don't know how many times they sacked them, but they sacked them a bunch. But again now, let's look at this thing. Ohio State, would you say they were physical?
Yeah, they've definitely, offense and defense.
All right, Clemson, would you say that Clemson is real physical?
Well, a lot of people think they have the best defensive front in the country, yeah.
All right, Notre Dame, would you consider them
people
physical?
People do say Clemson's offensive line's not that good. I haven't heard that a lot.
Okay, and they're not real sound at quarterback, are they?
Well, Trevor Lawrence is a freshman.
Yeah. But LSU, would you say they were physical?
Yeah, LSU's
very physical.
LSU's fronts are physical, yeah.
And Michigan, would you say they were physical?
Michigan's got the best defense in the country, everybody says.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. So the teams that are out there,
wise they are.
The teams that are out there right now, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan, LSU, all of them are physical enough to play for a national championship. Wouldn't you think?
Let's just say this: if Tua's knee sprain becomes an issue, which of course he had to go to the tent, and everybody said he could come back in, but when they play LSU, of course they'll have an off week for him to maybe rest a little bit more. But good and well, Dave Aranda, who's considered the best defensive coordinator in the country, they're going to blitz and blitz and blitz, and they're going to take as many shots on Tua as they possibly can. And we saw it in the Super Bowl several years ago when the Patriots were undefeated. Tom Brady was running from his life.
You can't throw it sitting on your tail.
Against the Giants, O.J. Mayor and Justin Tucker in his face the whole game. And, if LSU gets pressure on Tua, those perfect throws, might not be as perfect.
And he did not have near the throwing night that he's had in the past.
He was 12 of 22 for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Of course, he still has not thrown an interception, which is incredible. But, I'm just saying LSU's gonna blitz and blitz and blitz and try to take as many shots as they possibly can.
Alabama better be able to run the football. They can't be one-dimensional against any of these teams, LSU or Ohio State or anybody down the line,
Yeah,
But you're right. That LSU game could mean the whole difference in the entire college football.
And after LSU, Alabama's got to turn around and play in Tuscaloosa against a really, really physical Mississippi State team too. So
yeah, that's right.
Those are going to be 2 tough games.
I think they'll break that big boy in half, Mike. They'll break that big boy from Mississippi State in half.
I know, but I'm just saying their defensive front is stout for me.
Yeah, no question about it. I tell you,
LSU's got Mississippi State this weekend too, so that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, oh yeah, it will be. But again, let me tell you, It's the difference in a big boy, a big heavyweight that comes in and pounds you and hits you in the mouth, keeps hitting your mouth. Well, that's Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, LSU, and Michigan. They'll hit you in the mouth.
Andy mentioned this team. Florida beats Georgia.
They are playing well,
Florida's
Florida.
got a chance to be in Atlanta now in Mullen's first year.
And it's amazing how well they played and to come back.
Vandy's up 21-3, and Florida comes back and wins 37-27.
And tell me about that fight they got into. The coaches almost got into it, didn't they?
Yeah, they had to break them up. It was, something going on the sideline or something going on. I mean, definitely don't see that much in the SEC. Of course, Mullen, talked about after the game that him and Mason are friends. And, kind of hated that it happened type deal. So.
All right, tell us a little bit about baseball.
It was a great weekend for football, though. It really was.
All right, but we got baseball going on. What's happening?
Well, the Red Sox even the series last night with the Astros. It's 1-1, and then Dodgers came back and beat Milwaukee yesterday. So both those series are at 1-1.
Yeah.
Now, Boston will travel to Houston, and now Milwaukee will travel on the road to play out in L.A.
Yeah, and so those.
It's just hard to keep up with baseball right now, man. It really is. It's tough for me. There's people that love baseball, though. I know it's one of those type things where a lot of people still watch them both.
Yeah, no question about it. I was looking at some scores from high school. I wanted to fill some people in on some of those. Oxford, the team that killed Charles Simpson, beat Chase Valley 47-13. Opelika
Chase Valley's really struggling this year.
Yeah, Opelika beat Calera 30-10. Mountain Brook beat Hewitt-Trussville. That was a great game, 20-17.
Yeah, to hold that offense to 17 points is pretty incredible.
And I'm just, of course, Monroe Academy beat Pike Liberal 28-0. Some other games of interest. Maplesville beat Isabella 32-0. These are just some games that I think might be interesting to some people. Macon East beat this Success Unlimited 42-20. Lynette remains undefeated, 20-0 over Lochapoka. Just looking at a few other scores here. Houston Academy beat Geneva 37-28. Those are some games from right here. Hoover beat Spain Park 32-7. Homewood beat Chelsea 34-7. Those are up in the Birmingham area. Maybe the biggest upset of the week, and the biggest. I tip my hat to Highland Home, 31, Luverne 28. That was a huge win for the Flying Squadron.
The Flying Squadron.
No question, boy. Don't you know they were hanging around that restaurant all night long Friday night, Mike?
About It Don't Matter Cafe.
It Don't Matter Cafe. They were hanging around it all night long. No question. Greenville beat Beauregard. This will tell you a little bit about Greenville. Beat Beauregard 34-13. They got a good team. Goshen beat Calhoun 34-0. Georgiana beat Elba. What a game, Mike. 35-27.
Yeah, you'll probably see that matchup again late in the playoffs.
Some other games. GW Long beat Houston County. That was a big win for them, 24-15. Maybe they're turning the corner a little bit.
You know who's undefeated and is beating everybody by a lot of points? Headland's real good this year.
Oh, yeah, they really are good. Florella beat McKenzie. Other games, Eufaula beat Russell County. Escambia County, Mike, beat Andalusia. Andalusia's on hard times, Mike. They beat them 24-3, beat Andalusia.
Well, Andalusia lost, the Helms kids up here in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's right.
Really good defense coordinator.
Escambia Academy, my good buddy, beat South Choctaw 42-20. Edgewood beat Lakeside 31-7. Maybe Edgewood might be coming back a little bit. Demopolis, they are always good. They beat Central Tuscaloosa. Looking at some other games of interest to you in this area, Central Phoenix City beat Leo Montgomery 44-17. And then quickly, Abbeville beat Delville 54-0. Abbeville's got a good team. Auburn beat Smith Station 34-0. And that's just a few of the games. New Brockton and Sampson were postponed. Why was that? New Brockton and Sampson were postponed. They're going to play November 2nd, at least that's what they said here.
Early SEC lines are out for next week, and Vegas has got Alabama and Tennessee off the board, not knowing if Tua will play or not. You got Auburn 3.5 at Ole Miss. Tulsa and Arkansas is off the board because Arkansas's quarterback got knocked out against Ole Miss. Memphis at Missouri. Now that could be an interesting game. Missouri's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
Then you got Mississippi State at LSU. LSU's a 7-point favorite. And then another decent game, Vanderbilt at Kentucky. Kentucky's a 13-point favorite. But Vegas is trying to see what's going to happen with Tua. Hopefully he will be able to play against Tennessee. But, Jalen Hurts is really throwing the ball well and looking good. So if Tua doesn't play, Alabama still should win.
Tell us about UAB, man. They're playing good. They're playing North Texas.
Lost one game, and it's to Coastal Carolina, who now Coastal starting to get their brains beat out.
Yeah.
By everybody they play. La Monroe beat them by 23 points.
La Monroe, you're right, exactly right.
But Coach Clark, what a job. A program that was, basically no more. They quit playing football and decided to bring football back, and he goes to the. Wins 8 games last year, goes to the Bahamas Bowl, and this year they're 5-1. Yeah. Beat Rice 42-0, and what can you say? The guy's done an unbelievable job. Anybody in the country is going to want him as a head coach too.
Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the game comes.
One of his best friends in the world is Chuck Dunn, the defense coordinator at Arrington.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Well, let me tell you this. Of course, the last night the kicker for New England what is it, Bartowski? What's his name? The great field goal kicker for New England.
It's not Gronkowski because that's the tight end.
Boy, Gronkowski played unbelievable down the stretch. They threw it to him a couple times, and people couldn't tackle him. He just carried guys with him. Of course, this is right at the end of the game.
What would you say? For as baddest dudes in the NFL, would he have to
he's
be
the baddest dude and to me, he's the baddest dude in the NFL in my book. He is really tough. But let me just tell you how important place kickers are. Of course, Gronkowski, that's his name. He's the one that won the game last night on a chip shot field goal. But you take Washington, University of Washington. Here they are. Their quarterback has their football team in a chip shot, a real chip shot field goal situation at the end of the game, and he missed it.
Jay Browning.
And he misses it, and they lose the ball game. But a coach in the pros and in the college put all of their work and all of their efforts and everything into one package, and the guy misses a chip shot field goal.
Well, that's why Carlson, got released. Yeah. He missed 3 field goals.
I noticed he was back, and he missed another one in that game for Miami. I want to say that's who he played for. No.
Carlson's back.
No, he played for the other team. Yeah, he's back. He kicked for who played? I want to say the Jets. Who played Miami?
Yesterday.
Who played Miami?
The Bears.
All right. Who won that game? The Jets. Miami or the Bears? I think Miami won, didn't they?
The New England kicker is Gostkowski.
Gostkowski. Yeah.
You got Gronkowski and Gostkowski.
But
I'll have to look and see that.
Well, he was back kicking, but again, it's amazing how everything can end up built around a little old guy that's all he does is kick X points and field goals all night long, and then they ask him to come in and win the game. So it's tough. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having fun today. I hope that we haven't been too critical, but we're trying to lay it out the way it is, and that's exactly, I think, the way it is right now.
I have nothing against this coaching staff. This is the same coaching staff that beat LSU.
Yeah, I know it. I love them.
In season,
yeah.
I hate it for them. I really do.
Let me tell you something. The coaching staff's efforts had not even entered my mind other than everything was good. I think our coaches work as hard as anybody. I hear them working, and they work hard. It was just, you had a quarterback that wasn't ready. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's just a situation where, I know that he thought that he could go in and do the job.
It was a big difference in him coming in as a backup to Barker, and you know, of course, how good Barker was, and you know, he had no pressure on him at all. But the pressure was on him. He's a young player, and now, hey, a lot of young players. Hey, our guy last year was like this, Mike. He had his ups and his downs, but down the stretch, his senior year, most of his efforts were ups. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Silvers played lights out late in the season.
Sure did. And hopefully,
you know, Troy's got to get healthy too. It seems like there's a lot of injuries we don't even know about.
yeah.
So I don't know what's going on.
And they went ahead and kicked those two guys that they were depending on to help them on offense. They kicked them off the team, didn't they?
Yeah, but I mean, Troy's got to find a way to get more pressure on the quarterback too. Our defensive ends did not show up at all in
That's
that game.
Right. You've got to have good rush
Jarvis
in.
Hayes, the kid from Slocum, had a big sack late, but that was about it. I think that was the only sack for the whole game. You're not hearing Marcus Webb's name at all. You didn't hear Sanders' name at all, the big defense.
Yeah, I know it. Where was he?
Hunter Reese, you didn't hear that name. You know, you didn't hear Barker, the guy, you know, I mean, another guy, or Baker that's been playing defensive end and making a lot of plays. You didn't hear any of those guys.
Yeah. And I tell you, on our play-by-play guys, and I love them to death, but boy, they had me turned around a few times. He needs to be more conscious of letting people know where the ball is. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, on radio, my biggest thing on the radio announcer is you got to let me
know where the ball is. Is that right?
You got to let me know what time, how much time's in the game.
Yeah, and where the ball is.
And what the down marker is, yeah.
See, Troy scored quickly on two plays there, and I did not know where the ball was.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those type things where, you know.
And that's, you know, and that can easily be a mistake, you know, that you can remedy, but very important to let you know where the ball is.
But the kicker you're thinking about for the Bears kicked at Auburn, but it's not Carlson, it's Cody Parker.
Oh, okay. Cody missed one then.
Yeah, he kicked at Auburn as well.
Okay, yeah. You know, I feel for Auburn and the Auburn fans.
Well, I mean, you got to. I mean, my sister went to Auburn, and my mom went to Auburn, and I mean, my twin sister is the biggest diehard Auburn fan, and you know, she couldn't talk after the game, and you got to be, as an Auburn fan, you got to almost be in shock right now about what's happening. Yeah. You know, you beat Washington, you're in the top 6, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, then you lose that heartbreaking game you just gave away to LSU.
You know, Mike.
But now you're seeing like both sides of the ball kind of quitting.
Another thing you got to be able to do, you got to be able to run the football. If you can't run the football, and they can stick all those folks in the box, and just play pass, it's just been proven that you're just not going to be able to pass every down and win the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And they've got to be able to run.
You make poor decisions too. I mean, Stidham made 2 of the worst interception throws you'll ever see.
And again, you know, on the shoulders, the whole Auburn plan is on the shoulders of that guy. He's supposed to produce, and he didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, Auburn has got to find a way to get bowl eligible, and that's be tough.
And I'll tell you what, I got a feeling, you know, a win could turn them completely around, and end up having a good year.
But man, that schedule's so brutal. I mean, how in the world are you going to win at Georgia? How in the world are you going to win in Tuscaloosa? And then you got Texas A&M, who's really playing great football, coming to Auburn.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Oxford this weekend. I mean, Liberty is probably your only sure win left. Yeah. And that gets you to 5 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, if Auburn goes 6-6, I mean, do they try to buy out Malzahn's $32 million contract?
Oh, I don't.
That's his buyout.
Oh, God. Hey, I know this. He's making Chidnick said it on, you know, Chidnick to tell it like it is. And he was saying, he said Auburn fans don't like the idea that a $7 million coach can't win, you know. Hey, it's just a way life is, you know. You make that kind of money, you're supposed to win.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, man.
These coaches are under tremendous pressure, but you can't feel too bad for them when you see how much they make.
No question. Want to mention Dixieland Dental today, and we appreciate them so much being one of our prime sponsors. Of course, they're located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dixieland Dental, Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in the state. And I also want to mention our good friends at First Cahaba Bank. located right here in Troy, Alabama, and soon to be in their brand new location. Grady and all the great folks there are great friends of mine, and let me tell you this, a new bank is coming to town, and it's First Cahaba Bank, and we appreciate them being a part of our
show. Go there and see Grady Capps.
Grady Capps, yes, sir. And Grady Capps, of course, been in banking a long time. There's a new grocery store coming, Mike, to replace Food World, and that's going to be nice.
What's that going to be?
It's going to be a big grocery store going right in there. I read the name today, and now I forgot it. Advantage. It's something Advantage, and it is a big grocery store coming where Food World was. Be open by mid.
That makes me happy that that's not going to be an empty space. That's always good to have.
Well, another thing, it'll be open by mid-November. A brand new grocery store, a big grocery store coming to Troy. Hope you've enjoyed our show, ladies and gentlemen, and of course you can watch us again at 1:30. Yes, we've got an opinion. Yes, we love Troy like very few people love Troy, but let's tell it like it is and get this thing turned around.
Well, and nobody's seen more Troy games than you have, probably living.
Well, I've seen a lot of them.
Let's be honest. Nobody cares about Troy as much as we do, but you got to call it like it is. When you lose it to a team you're supposed to beat, it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. I still love them. Still love every player and every coach. And hey, we just got to turn it around. And this one here is going to be awfully, awfully tough because we're going to play somebody that don't like us. No, this is the biggest rivalry we've got, and we better be ready for it. Have a great day.